is our Fitcast, powered by Easier, Health Now, Education Now, Pay Later. Our guest for today is profound Priyanka Bhatt. Let's dive into the world of 24 hours racing to representing India on international stage, exploring resilience, strategic pros, and personal development that accompanies such endurance challenges. Priyanka has proved that it is possible to balance a demanding job with passion for ultra running. So, Priyanka, how did all of this begin, and how were you introduced to ultra running?
I think running just happened in my life. I always wanted to start and keep kind of a proper track into my health lifestyle because सब कुछ हेवाया था. Like I used to not have breakfast. My lunch used to happen any point in time. Dinners, so I think midnight and stuff like that. And I think over a period, it started giving me few health reasons. But it's like you know you want to do it and you want to improve your style, but you were never kicked up about it. And I remember the small 5K run that was happening, and from my office, a lot of people were like into cutlets and like, let's go, let's go. And I used to do a lot of dancing before that. Like I had done 5 years of dancing with Shamak Davar Institute.
Oh,
So I was like that, no, I'm fit. 5 kilometers I can easily run. And I remember when I started that 5K run and in 200 meters, I was literally struggling to grasp my breath. And that's when I realized that this is alarming. I think I had just turned 30 or I was about to turn 30 and something like that had happened. And I was like, "Oh, this is very saddening." I remember going home and with lots of sad and depressed face, I just Googled like next marathon happening in Mumbai. And immediately it popped up the Pawai Hiranandani marathon.
right.
It usually happens in the first week of January. Without any thought, I registered 10K, 10
Okay.
kilometers. At 5 kilometers पे तो
हाँ.
हवा टाइट हो रही थी लेकिन कॉन्फिडेंस फुल था कि करना है अब, enough is enough. And I had exactly 1 month. And I remember I am a person who tries to keep everything simple. Like I have no at that point I have no understanding of what is your pace and heart rate and nothing like that. I just told myself that every day I will commit myself 20 to 30 minutes. That was a promise given to myself. Whether it's morning, evening, night, I don't care. 20 minutes you have to give yourself. Do run, walk, jog, whatever. So earlier where I used to stay, there used to be 100 meter, 600 meter to 700 meter kind of a area around the building. So I used to just do run, walk, jog at that point in time. And like my 5 kilometer, I remember completing in an hour or so. And then when I went for Pawai run, I completed in like 65 minutes,
10 kilometers.
10 kilometers. So I was very happy.
Mhm.
So one thing was sure that when you do it, when you put a mind and heart to it, you can obviously do it. It is achievable. Then I again came back home and I said, next marathon happening in Mumbai. And then it popped up with Thane Hirandani half marathon. So I registered 21 kilometer, just like that. And then I was like, let's do the 5 to 10 हुआ
हो जाओ,
21
right.
हो ही जाएगा.
Right.
चलते चलते walk करते endurance ही बढ़ाना है. So from the 20 to 30 minutes of commitment, it went to 1 hour. Then let's start. Dhire dhire 40 minutes I started giving it to myself. And once you start enjoying, you also build up a little bit of endurance. You go give 1 hour. So I think next another 3 to 4 weeks, 1 hour of commitment, of course with 2 days of rest and everything. I went for Thane Ranani half marathon. And I think I finished in 2 hours 35 or 37 minutes.
Okay.
And no idea what is the best time, but apne mein I was best because this was a progress for me which was happening. And I was just happy about it. And that's it. I mean, for me, this is what exactly I wanted. A commitment to myself to do. And when I'm able to do it, I'm able to achieve it. It was a sense of satisfaction that was helping me. Then I again searched next run happening. And I remember usually April, May, June is a slack period. Like
Lot of creatives, right.
people are not, it's a summer, people just train, not much races are happening and everything. And I remember coming across or heard about it for the first time that 12 hours ultra run is happening. And every year on 15th August, at Shivaji Park, this run is organized.
Okay.
So I asked someone, what is 12 hours run? And the gentleman said that you have to run for 12 hours. I said, how is it possible? And I had multiple questions. कि इसमें क्या करना होता है? How you do it? ये वो. So the person said, listen, just come and do it. You will get all your answers. Best is to try it and see how it works. And कुछ ऐसा punishment नहीं मिलेगा. नहीं हुआ घर चले जाना. Like there is so at that point in time, a loop used to be 11 kilometers.
So it was a
Start from Shivaji Park, you go till Worli, Dairy, Seaface, and you come back. That one loop was of 11 kilometers. And after every loop, they do a medical test, your blood level, your weight. So if your BP, everything is normal. वहाँ physio भी था, खाना पीना भी होता था. Like you can eat, you know, ice packs are there. And I was like, यही तो चाहिए. खाना भी है, सो भी सकते हो, चल भी सकते हो, सब कुछ ही मिल रहा है. This is best. Like I fell in love. I said, खाते पीते लोग मारकर वॉक जॉब करते करते रन करना है. This is very charming. I think I fell in love with this thought, this concept only. And I had no idea what ultra run is and what ultra marathon is and what all is happening across the world. But I was just happy with this thought. Because I am a gujju at heart. खाना पीना पहले होना चाहिए, बाकी That was one of the reasons why I started running. That मुझे वो एक stage पे नहीं पहुंचना है where a doctor says you can't eat this and you can't eat that. Correct. Your eating choices should be your choice. And that's why I said कि before you reach to that stage, start working on your fitness. Because end of the day, this body is all that you have with you. Like people will come and go, but you are staying in this body. So how you manage and take care of yourself is the utmost importance for the rest of your life. So I remember doing this ultra run for the first time and I clocked 6 miles, which is 66 kilometers. Extremely happy. Like in 12 hours, 66 kilometers, well, life. I think the max long run I had done was of 30 kilometers. So I was extremely happy. And I think I fell in love with this concept. And I realized that endurance is my strength. And I started then focusing on that. Of course, I did a lot of half marathons and 10K runs and 5K runs. And as and when the runs started coming into my life, I realized that more the distance, the more the endurance. And that's where my strength is lying. So I started focusing on that. And that's how my journey to ultra marathon had started.
That's very interesting, and that pushes me that
so I tell that I became a marathoner later, but I became an ultra
marathon. And also jump was a big jump from 5 to 10 to 21 and then 66 was a very big jump. So talking in terms of ultra marathon, how do you select an ultra marathon? What are the criteria for, because there are various marathons which happen in ultra marathon. So how do you specifically select that you want to go for this marathon?
So there are different criteria. Of course, the big criteria, because I'm a working professional, my biggest criteria, when it is falling. Like if my work commitment is stringent, then I can't make it, then I don't go for such marathons. But I look at the terrain, what kind of distance that they are offering, what kind of hydration support that whichever race is getting organized is offering. And accordingly, I decide how much training I'll be able to do from that particular date till from starting from today. Like what are the number of weeks and am I able to going to plan it well? Because haphazardly, I don't just jump into it because ultra run requires that amount of strength and endurance. And there's a lot of wear and tear that goes into your body. And I also know on my professional work life what kind of load I also have that side. So depending on my workload, I design my training load. And that's how I then do a calculation of number of weeks. And then I see what race is there, that I can sign up. Terrain is of utmost importance because if there are few hilly runs which are coming, that means I have to include hill training into my regular runs as well. And living in a city like Mumbai, there are very few opportunities to run in a hill, right? Unless you go outskirts and do that. But on weekends, I also have other commitments to, resolve my household chores and everything. So it becomes sometimes difficult. So I make it a very clear, training understanding for myself that how much I'm able to give it to it. If it is feasible, workable, I sign it up. Otherwise, I stick to basic ultra runs in terms of stadium runs or few short distance runs which are happening around the Mumbai.
Nearby.
Yeah.
So that less consumes your travel time.
True.
Okay. So talking in terms of the training part and the jump which you had from 5 to 10 to 21 and then directly to an ultra run. So the training remained the same or there was any change in the training pattern for all these kilometer change? And if there was any, then what was this one training which helped you to achieve that ultra run or an ultra marathon so swiftly?
Yeah. No, I think a lot of things changed because I was not going, I was a coach to myself. And I had no understanding about what is, in fact, my first sports watch actually came in 2017 or 18. Otherwise, I was not even wearing any watch or anything. I think I always went by the feel, how my body is feeling, what kind of, am I able to enjoy it? And I always tell people that you should not always run on speed or pace. Yes, ye sare words I'm able to talk to it, but when I actually started, I had no understanding of speed, pace, heart rate, strides, cadence,
Right.
nothing. So I think what really worked in my favor is because less you understanding you have is also good because you are not binded by those conclusions
And you don't have
what's your heart
restrictions
rate. Yeah.
in your mind.
So I used to literally sing a song and run. And I think now if I put into the terminology, I was actually running in my 60-70% of heart rate, which is usually the zone 1 or 2, and which is good. You should not always run at your max HR because higher your HR, slower is your recovery. But you run at a very steady pace at a comfortable HR, that means your recovery also becomes faster.
Okay.
In terms of strength training, I failed miserably. I had no idea. Of course, I used to do a lot of yoga, and because of my dancing, lot of squats and exercises were included. So basic exercise in terms of push-up or some kind of Surya Namaskar or a little bit of lunges and everything. Some or the other form of workouts, core workouts, crunches and all that I used to do. But I had joined the gym, which was nearby, and then a little bit of weight workouts was helping me, but not majorly. And I remember struggling after a bit. So I started working like, why after, let's say if I'm doing a 10-kilometer run, at 7 or 8, I feel ab nahi hoga. If you're doing 21 at 17 or 16, 17 kilometer, you're like, oh my God, another 3 or 4 is left. And that's when I realized that happens because you are either hungry, you are either tired, you get tired because you are hungry, you are dehydrated. These are few signals. I started researching about it. What is it that you do? And I started including by myself without asking anyone, like just water was not helping clearly. Electrolytes. I used to carry chocolates in my pocket and I used to see what is working, what is not working. So I think right from beginning, to eat and run has always been in my favor. I have spoiled runs, miserably spoiled runs. Ki kuch khaya and doesn't suit my body. So for example, oranges doesn't work with me. Orange, anything flavor, chocolate, juice, or orange as a fruit, nothing. That
Even electrolytes in
correct. Orange, no. Apple flavor, lemon flavor works fantastic. Now, this all I came into conclusion after trying, coming to a conclusion after multiple runs that have, not worked in favor. But today at this stage, I know exactly what I should be eating, what I should be avoiding, what I should be drinking, at which kilometer, at what interval, and how I will feel.
So you've mastered your art.
Exactly. And I think that has only happened because I was never restricted about, नहीं, ये नहीं खाते, नहीं, ये heavy करेगा. मैंने वड़ा पाव खाया है रन में. मैं वड़ा पाव खाती हूँ. I think that's the best way to get your carbs, your fats and everything and run. That's potato. It's carb. I have eaten cheese sandwich. That worked fantastic for me. People feel that नहीं digest ऐसे कैसे पेट heavy होगा? How will you run? But that has worked for me. And until you will not try it, you will not know it. And if someone wants to become an ultra runner, you have to put that habit of eating and running. It's like simple. I put everything in simple. गाड़ी तब चलती है जब पेट्रोल और ऑयल अच्छे से गया होता है. वरना रिजर्व में कितना गाड़ी चलेगा? Your body is a machine. The more you feed, the more energy it will give you to sustain for long number of hours and distance. So I think that keeping basics very simple and then implying the same thing in your running has certainly helped.
Right. So being your own coach and you never felt a missing place of a coach, or you never felt like taking coaching from an ultra marathon runner as a need for you to cover the long distance?
No, I have not. To be very honest, it was always my personal decision of to stay away from groups or coaching or anything, because I got into running out of things to improve my lifestyle. More, it became like a passion. I never had goals कि मुझे चार्ट में ऊपर पहुंचना है. I want to become one. I want to get into competition. Never ever. And I also feel that when you are coaching, your coach wants you to train to a certain level. Everyone wants to get out the best out of you. Now, I have a very daunting job as well,
Right.
where I have to manage time, I have to manage my work. There are different kind of target pressures, peer pressures, and everything. There is one thing in my life which is coming out of passion and which is giving me immense of happiness. I want to keep it as personal and as private as I could. I didn't want to get into that pure pressure or running pressures and competitiveness and then, competing with the runners. It should come with the flow. And I somehow feel that only you understand your workload, your stress levels, and no matter how much you try to explain someone else, there will always be that difference. So I design my own training plans depending on my workload. Workload high है तो training load कम.
हाँ.
Workload बहुत easy है तो training load increase.
So it's on your
It's
availability.
on my own availability. I am more flexible and I don't want to get into that stress of ये करना ही पड़ेगा, ऐसे ही करना, ये training क्यों miss करें. Sometimes I'm not feel comfortable. I might have decided to run 30 kilometers, but I'm not feeling good. I ended up in 20 and came back home. So I don't want any kind of pressure. It is coming out of my passion. What is making me happy, I like to stick to that.
So when it comes to training for an ultra marathon for a man and a woman would be the same, or it differs?
I think depends on your goals, how much distance you are doing and how much time you are aiming to do an ultra marathon. So of course, those are the criteria that will certainly differ. But I think on a larger perspective, if I put your in terms of, say, if you want to be an ultra runner, you have to be strong in your endurance and your strength.
Right.
I mean, ultra runs only requires these two things. Your endurance, you have to have lot of mileage in your account, because your body understands then to go long distance. If you keep doing short distance and just speed workouts, it's not going to help you to sustain long.
For a long
You
distance.
have to also practice endurance. And of course, the physique of men and women is different, and their training plans can always be designed differently, because the amount of strength, like men usually work more on carb, while women work more on fat energy. So all those on a very detailed level can be differentiated. But I think if whether it is men or woman, you want to become an ultra runner, you have to clock long distance running. You have to run long miles, and that is the only way your body can know the adaptation of running long distance, long number of hours, and that's how the body adaptation happens.
That's giving a message to your body that this is what you have to be used to it now.
Yeah.
Great. So also being a first timer, when you jumped from 5 to 10 to 21 and then suddenly 66 kilometers.
Yeah.
Were there any mistakes after completing your 66 kilometers? You found out, okay, this is where we need a little bit of tweaking, or this can be improved, or this is what I missed on. So were there any key points which needs to be highlighted when for a first timer?
I think my obvious this mistake was this transition. Though I could do it, but it is not a transition that I would recommend to anyone, because you have to gradually build your miles and then go into an ultra running. I should have done more number of half marathons and all, though I had done couple of more 10Ks in between and everything. And my longest distance that I said was 30 kilometers as a training. But of course, there's a lot of wear and tear that body goes. And I wasn't doing too much of strength workout. In fact, I started strength workout quite later. I used to just do at a very basic level amount of squat and everything, not included weights and everything. So of course, I think first 1.5 year, all the mistakes that I have made, I started correcting them from the second year. and started implying all the small changes in my first to begin with 10Ks and 21Ks and during my training runs. And then gradually I started working on that if ultra running is my future and that is what I want to focus on, which I'm enjoying also the most, how can I improvise on that as well? So of course it has taken a lot of number of years, lot of number of runs, training runs, and like I said, a lot of bad runs as well by trying and permitting and combining and different kind of approaches into the running. But always the focus have been to then take it very gradually and keep implying changes which can sustain for a long number of period of time and not just for a short focus approach.
So after being an ultra marathon runner, be it for the first time or then eventually taking it as a sport and as a liking, how were you introduced to 24 hours, or how did you came to know about the 24-hour World Championship? And what made you aim to that elite level of championship, which is a very difficult task to run 24 hours at a straight?
Yeah.
So what was your aim and what made you push your goals to 24 hours of run?
So I think my first attempt of 24-hour running was in 2017.
Okay.
And I don't think I had clocked more than 115 or 20 or 110 kilometers. I really don't remember because I had realized it's not my cup of tea.
Okay.
12 hours walk job kar liya from, I think the real game starts from 14th hour. And I was half of the time just sleeping, not much idea on how to rework on the entire hydration strategy. So I'm not sure of my exact score, but certainly it was not more than 115 kilometers. And then I thought 24 hours is not for me. Until 2018, I think I hardly ran in that entire year. My only focus was to build strength, reduce a little bit of fat percentage, change my eating habits, because every run I was facing a lot of gut issues, and you have to resolve gut issues. And almost for 3 years that I was running, or 4 years I was running, I was still facing a lot of gut issues, and I had to clear this.
That was the barrier which was there.
Big
Right.
barrier. So I think in my 2018 initial first 3 months only I decided, and I remember working from March till May, June only on workouts, only on eating patterns. I remember I used to make a diary and write what did I eat today, how am I feeling by night, next day how am I feeling, because आप जो भी खाते पीते हो उसका 24 hours के बाद भी असर होता है.
Okay.
And I realized to this conclusion that green cheese doesn't suit me.
Okay.
Too much masala doesn't suit me. The more basic food is fine for me. And I started noting the small things. Orange was one thing which I discovered. Watermelon, if I eat it during the run, then it gives me gut issues.
Okay.
So I started noting this small things, like a plain idli will work, but with chutney, no. Because that chutney again has green chilies.
Right.
So again, no. So I have tried multiple things in that first, in 2018, 6 months or 5-6 months, that I came to this conclusion, what is working and what is not working. And I tried resolving maximum amount of gut issues.
Okay.
And that helped me. So I was okay that I'm not running for a couple of months, though I was running short runs and working on my endurance as well as on my speed at that point in time. But that really helped me to change the game.
And it was to work on yourself first,
Correct.
which was very much important.
Because for number of runs that though I was improving in my endurance and timing and everything, but the gut thing was always popping up. Like मुझे suddenly low pressure आएगा or I'll feel vomited. And none of the gels used to work for me. None of this energy drinks used to work for me. So somewhere I'm like, something is wrong. So you need to work on yourself. So I always tell people that what didn't work for me doesn't mean that doesn't work for you.
True.
You have to try to see what works for you is the best.
Everyone's body is different and reacts differently to stuffs.
Like a lot of people eat sing chana.
Okay.
It gives me a throat disturbance. So I try to avoid it, though I might have it in like as a snack item, but I don't have it during the run. Like even the smallest of the thing, I started working on it. So I think 2018 when I did all this, and then came in 2019, I was actually clueless what to do, and the easy race that I could see in my calendar happening was, of course, I had done one BNP 50 kilometer, and then I had done few other runs, and the longest ultra that was coming was Stadium Run, 24 hours. And it was happening in Mumbai in the month of June. I said, let me try and sign up because the last 24 run I had done was, 2 years back. And though I failed miserably, but I wanted to see. And I clocked 152 kilometers, though it didn't help me to qualify for World Championship. Immediately after 1.5 months, it was happening in fact, 1 month, it was happening in July in Bangalore. So again, the 24 hours helped me to qualify for World Championship. And that's how World Championship happened.
So that is what opened doors to World Championship.
Yeah. So I was very clear, if this still doesn't happen, it's okay.
You train more.
You learn a lot and then you can try again and you will know how to improvise. So I certainly knew after June or Mumbai that happened that 110, 115 से 150 खींच पाई हूँ. So there is something that has really worked in favor, and all this effort which I've been trying to figure out has worked in my favor. And now I know how to better off from here. So with that open thought, I had gone to Bangalore. That will push for another 20. That will help me to qualify for World Championship. That happens, great. Doesn't happen, it's okay. You will learn and you will be somewhere and you will know what is working and what is not working. So I think that just changed the game, and I got qualified, took a little break, and then restarted the training. And yeah, in October 2009.
Great. So coming to World Championship training, how was it different from 24 hours of training? Your running training?
I think lots of mileage I had to add on onto it because, of course, strength training was always the part of that training as well. But weekends, long back-to-back long runs has always been my key. Somehow, I think it has worked greatly in my favor because what happens when you do back-to-back long runs, you are not only just working on your physical endurance on the strength, but you're also working on your mental strength.
Right.
Because Saturday, if you're doing 40 kilometer and Sunday again, you have to clock another 35 or 40. That is a win because you are conditioning your body that with tired legs and tired body, how you are going to run. And most importantly, you're training your mind that you don't want to get up Sunday morning and again do another long run. But you are conditioning your mind that it is just a mental game. You can still do it. You can still do it. And also it helped me to add hydration strategy accordingly. Like Saturday, jab bhagti hu and how much amount of water and food that I eat, Sunday it is doubled. And because Sunday I'm actually hungry all the more. So in fact,
because your body is recovering from the previous.
Right. And it is asking for more food. So I give more food. And that has helped me. That it's okay. Do not starve. Again, same logic. Jitna petrol, oil, gas jayega, utna machine chalega.
Okay.
So it is safe. And that's, I think, it happens over a period with continuous practice. And it has not happened overnight. Lots of changes, lots of struggle, lots of sacrifice, lots of bad runs. You have to do it so as to come to the conclusion what is working in your favor and what is not working. And you need to, most importantly, I always tell everyone, have patience with yourself. Nothing will change overnight. जो फटाफट करने जाओगे, it will not sustain long. If it's not long sustenance, go slow, go easy, and most importantly, be kind to yourself. And I think being kind, being patient, and understanding at every stage what is working, what is not working has certainly helped me. So I think by 2019, I remember a lot of people asking me, what is this crazy back-to-back long runs? But I think that was the only way that I was able to do what I had aimed for. And because along with work, with job, I can only dedicate 2 hours in the morning.
Right.
But weekend is something which I can give maximum. So 5-6 hours, I used to just do that. And once it's committed, it's committed.
True. Also, your mind needs to be in synchronization with your body.
Yeah.
Whatever you decide, your body needs to support that.
Yeah.
For which you have to be a bit kind because at the end of the day it's not only the runs which you have to do, but also the work pressure, the family commitments, which has to go throughout the day.
True.
You cannot skip on any of the part.
Absolutely.
That's rightly said, that work and physical is what we have to primarily focus on. So, being a female runner, and being a female world championship runner. We all know that it's very difficult for females on those menstrual period of, in a month. So in that case, how do you change, or how do you, train your body in those 4, 5, 6, 7 days of duration which comes every month?
So I think if you learn about the cycle of menstrual cycle, that when your estrogens are high, your progesterone is getting high, and then the shift is happening. Depend on that, you have to reduce your training load or change your training load. Now, obviously, we just now feel it, right? We might not go every week on week that what are my, hormone level balance is changing. But now when your about due date has happening, which means the transition of hormones is happening. Now, I think I prefer, or I always do this. I run during my periods. In fact, most of my runs, including that championship, was during that. Like I finished my 2019 championship run, and next morning I was due. So I was down with my period. So I could feel in this 24 hours also, because my hormones are extremely low. Your gut is, you're feeling bloated and everything. But I was able to run 192 kilometers was also because I ran during my periods, during my training phase. And it's important to understand your body, that how you are feeling during periods. It's good to exercise. It's good to run during your periods. There is no harm at all, because you release endorphins. It make you feel good. It releases your back pain also. And because you run or you exercise or do workout, you tend to drink lots of water. You tend to get into lots of juices, fruits, fluids, and that helps to cleanse your system as well. And it's just, you have to make your runs very easy. You should not target on pace and speed. You have to go with the flow. But eating, drinking, hydrating is equally important. And certainly that has helped me. So I do not miss my workout or exercise in my periods. I do it. So as and when I feel the body, I reduce the kilometers or whatever training phases, but I go for it, because I have faced most of the runs during that falling into my periods. Now, if you have trained so hard and on a race day, if your periods are coming,
You can just step back.
yeah, you are going to run. So why not put that also into practice during your training run?
So over the entire journey of becoming an ultra marathon runner and then representing India, which was the biggest support system which, helped you or pushed you apart from yourself?
Yeah.
That was one, which motivated you to push towards, that goal which you had already set it for yourself,
Yeah.
and which finally succeeded. So what was that mantra, or was it your colleague who was there, or was it a family member which helped you out to,
Yeah.
go for that championship?
Yeah. No, I think, of course, family, friend support is always there. As much as my mom keeps telling, like, thoda kam bhago, thoda kam bhago. But in the end, she will be like, yeah, you can do this, you can do this. Like, till today, yesterday night, every night when we speak, she's like, tomorrow you are running. I said, yes. She's like, thoda kam bhagna. Till date, she says, thoda kam bhagna. It's just that thoda kam bhagna का definition ये हो गया कि पहले 5-10 kilometers करती थी, और she बोली सर इसमें तो 5-10 में कुछ तसल्ली होगी नहीं. So don't run more than 25-30, okay? Just stick to 30, under 30. Now the language has changed, but still, thoda kam bhagna. So I think parents support, my brother, my bhabhi. They have extremely, in whatever I choose to do, they have been very supportive. Though they will question, ki, kyun, why are you doing this? But when I get a medal and when I'm representing, there is nobody else to get more proud than my family. And of course, I have a bunch of friends who are like my constant, always there to support and be my cheerleader. And even if I'm, sometimes struggling and I'm on my low phase and anything, they are there for me. So of course, those support from family and friends obviously helps you to boost that kind of confidence. हमसे नहीं हो रहा तू ही कर ले.
हमारी तरफ से भी भाग लो.
Sometimes I get that pressure also कि हमने कल 2 समोसे खा लिए तो भाग ले, हम एनर्जी हमारे कैलोरीज भी बर्न कर ले. So I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll do it. So this is just on a very funny note that this is how they keep me motivating, and
But that's very helpful.
yeah, totally. I said, yeah, अब भागना पड़ेगा.
Great. So on representing India, how was your experience?
Oh, it's magical. I still get goosebumps about it. I'm waiting to go back again. I think 2019 has been a roller coaster ride for me. For people who know me would know this. I was in a very dark phase of my life, and I think I used to channelize all my energy towards running because that जहाँ से आपको खुशी मिलती है आपको वो ज़्यादा करने का मन करता है. And I remember going for when I got selected, it was a big thing for me because I had not aimed it. Like I said, even my manual to run when I had gone, I was like, I will give it a try. नहीं हुआ तो ठीक है, सीख के ही आएंगे. And you get through it, and it gives immense amount of confidence and happiness, and through it just answers that every struggle or every sacrifice that you have made is worth it. And I'm a big superhero Marvel girl fan, and Captain America is my superhero. And I made this like I can do this all day. I can do this all day. So 24 hours is literally an all day. And I keep telling myself that when you put your heart and mind into it, you can do it. And there is a very famous line by Spider-Man Homecoming movie. Peter Parker said that no man can win every battle, but no man should fall without a struggle. So you do whatever there is surely a chance that you will fail miserably, but you should do it and struggle it and fall it then, not just give up like that. And I think in 2019, when I was at the opening ceremony celebration in that entire auditorium with my entire team of Team India, I had this slight moment, an emotional and overwhelming moment that I was sitting right in the front of that theater, or equidistant from the stage, equidistant from the right side of the auditorium, left side of the auditorium, and from the back side of the auditorium. I felt like in an epicenter, and in that moment, I felt that the universe is saying, this is what I was preparing you for. So if you felt that you are in the dark phase, if you felt that you have so much of struggle and pain, sometimes when you feel that God, there's so much of darkness around you, I think God has just planted you.
Right.
And a plant, when it is under the ground, it's feeling full of dark, but when it pops up, that's when you see a light. And I think that changed me completely. Everything started feeling worth it. So now, if there is a pain, I know there is so much that I have to work upon or grow and, grow from whatever that is happening around me and put it into, in a more of positive attitude that it's okay. There is something that God wants me to change and learn out of it. And that's why a struggle is coming or whatever challenge is coming. So I think at the start line, I remember just looking up in the sky and thanking God that all the hard work, I'm here. At this moment, I'm just full of great gratitude that I'm standing here with so many world athletes, with the world champions I was around. Not many people are lucky. There were 6 of men and 6 of female runners. I counted myself extremely lucky and fit for being here among the best of the champions. So I'm just going to give my best and leave it up to you.
Rightly said. Yeah. Completely rightly said that a plant never knows what's there.
Yeah.
So true. And that also describes that, how would be the feeling of, when preparing or, when that entire procedure, we never know what's coming up.
Yeah.
But there's always a good thing if we are having a good intention to do something good for us.
Yeah.
So that's great. So after representing India and coming back from the World Championship, how it impacted your personal and professional life? Like people would be like,
I think
so good that, if any friend is completing a world champion, it's the biggest thing anyone could have ever dreamt of.
Yeah.
And it's being among us is a more prestigious thing because that's an elite thing. And only elite belong in that. For everyone, you are among that part. You've already crossed that stage.
Yeah.
So how was your feeling and how it impacted?
No, I think there was so much of happiness and, appreciation around me from family, from my workplace, friends, everyone, because nobody had thought that, clocking 192, like my friends still make a joke. I can't even drive 192 kilometers at a stretch. उसमें भी 10 इतने breaks लेंगे, उसमें भी halt करेंगे, steer करेंगे. So that become a joke And in my office, I remember they had started the saying that कुछ meetings के लिए पूना भेजना तो we will save travel costs. Just send Priyanka running. उसका training हो जाएगा. By Saturday, Sunday, she will reach, and Monday she will do meeting and then come back. So there were a lot of this, jokes that started floating. But I think everybody around me, whoever supported, at that point in time, I was working with Star Sports. Everybody had been very cooperative and supportive in that way, and they just helped me in whatever they could, either by just cheering and being supportive in whatever way.
That's great. So when after now you're again preparing for a world championship.
Yeah.
And so how do you balance, because every time there's a family, we wanted to do this with you with this weekend, we want to go out with your friends this weekend. How do you manage that? How do you cope up with all those barriers which come across?
So I think all my close friends and family now know that she is not available for weekends. Friday nights to bilkul bhi nahi. I am available for lunches, breakfast, and early dinners.
Okay.
So like today, after this, I'm meeting at my friend's place, and because I'm getting a home cooked food, and I very clearly said early dinner, and I'll be winding up and going back by 8:39 because I have a run again tomorrow. So I think by now everybody knows that I do not socialize, especially when I'm training hard. There are very few moments when I would say, "Yeah, let's party on a Friday night."
The best one is
to
hear you saying that you need to party.
पहला क्वेश्चन आ जाता है, ट्रेनिंग नहीं है ना, नहीं चल रहा है, तो I said ये मौका बार बार नहीं आएगा, let's do it.
Please ask less questions, let's go.
Yeah, so I think now my family and friends have just ignored or stopped inviting me, and then if they invite me, they know exactly what number of hours and what moment I'll be available. Otherwise, I'm not available.
Limited choice.
I'll virtually be available via video call, but I'm not coming.
So that's a limited edition and duration for limited people, like, yeah. Great. So after running so much, and of course we all face injuries, and we always have setbacks and not setbacks in a negative form, but in a positive form also, that this is what we need to improve or we need to learn. So how did you overcome the setbacks or the injuries which you faced over the period of time?
So I think my big first injury had happened in my first initial 1.5 year was ITV. And that's when I learned about it, that you have to do lots of strength workout as well. Lots of leg workout to strengthen your legs overall. And I think most of my struggles or challenge had happened during those initial 3-4 years. And like I said, my biggest issue was my gut issue, which I wanted to resolve, which I tried resolving in 2018. So all the first 3-4 years that went through were all bad runs, struggle, falling off, having some injury. I don't remember having major injuries except ITV in my first 1.5 year. Rest, everything was kabhi ye dukh raha hai, kabhi wo dukh raha hai, and that is basically due to weak muscles. So you need to strengthen that. If hamstrings are weak, you work on hamstrings. If you feel glutes are going weak, you are not able to run properly, you work on that. In pain, you need to work on that. So it just, you start learning few pinpoints which are hurt in a long distance or during whatever run you do, and you start working on that. So major of my workouts include whole body workouts, mixed workouts, and started focusing on that, and that helped me to resolve my physical issues as such. But all the internal issues in terms of gut, like I told you, I had to try multiple things, and that was the only way, because I have always been a sensitive stomach kid since childhood.
Okay.
And I always have faced gut issues. So I knew that this is something which I'll only able to resolve it as and when I tried. Just I have to be patient enough with myself. So even if it took me 2-3 years to resolve those things, but yeah, I'm sorted.
That's great. So after the injuries and the setback, what is your next target? What is the aim to go ahead with ultra marathon, or which marathon are you preparing yourself internally, which even you might not be aware, but is the last and the focus point of an ultra run, which you feel according to you?
See, I don't think there will be ever an end to that because there are so many ultra runs that happens across the globe.
Okay.
Like there is Badwater and there is like so many runs which are happening, and it's so beautiful to read about so many world athletes doing different kind of runs across various places. So yeah, I mean, given an opportunity, I would like to do all of them, but considering the time and bandwidth and capabilities and everything, it's gonna take time. I think it's gonna take a lifetime. So like I said, I don't think there will be ever an end कि इसके बाद full stop. इसके बाद ये हुआ तो ये हुआ तो ये. There will always be an upscale and upward climb in terms of ultra running. But if you ask me, I would like to do a lot of ultra runs outside India now. Even if it means to do slowly and gradually because it involves cost. You have to travel. I also have a job commitment, so I can't just freely travel. I'm not a full-time runner. I'm a full-time employee. And with passion and whatever availability that I have, I'm able to manage my run. So जैसे भी balance हो रहा है, कभी भी balance हो रहा है, whenever universe feels is the right time and I get an opportunity, I would like to do that because running abroad, there are different terrains that you can try, and there are the experience is very different. You are running amongst the champion, and you learn a lot. And I stand nowhere in terms of world athletes, the way they train and the way their crew members crew them, and what kind of training load and strategies that they apply. I'm no one close enough to that. But I tried picking up small things from them and try to implement in whatever way possible that I could. So maybe that's learning is never going to end, and hence I don't think my ultra journey is ever going to end, because there is never in my thought that this is the race and this is it. इसके बाद मैंने सब हासिल कर लिया. I don't think so. I'll ever be satisfied with that.
That's great. So along with running, did you ever feel that you need to take any other sport as a support, or as, just for your body, apart from dancing, that does not come in a sport?
Yeah.
So like yoga, you've told me that you have been doing it from previously. Is there any need, or do you ever feel that one should always keep a focus if they are not a gym person,
Yeah.
train out on their strength workout?
Yeah.
So is there any support by any other sport which can help out in ultra running?
No, of course, a lot of training is helpful. Like people do swimming, do cycling, everything. I have not picked any of that. I think for me, doing strength workouts, weight, a little bit of weights. I don't go to gym anyhow anymore. After COVID, I've stopped. Before that, I used to go, but I have weights at home, so a little bit of weight workout at home, and yoga helps me a lot. Secondly, I don't have too much of time. Cycling is, I find, an expensive sport. If you can afford it, you do it. I don't have that bandwidth. I try to keep things as simple as possible, as much I've told you. And I think a lot of people I have seen athletes doing cross trainings while cycling, swimming, or they want to play squash and tennis. So if you have some interest in sport,
But there's no compulsion.
there's no competition. Whatever you feel is right, do it. Like wherever you enjoy, end of the day, just do it.
Right.
So I enjoy working out at home and doing yoga and be relaxing in my own personal space. For me, that's how I do my recoveries and build my strength. So whatever works for you.
Great. So speaking about COVID, how did you keep yourself up in training, in terms of training, being yourself coach?
Don't
How was that phase?
I think it has been the most difficult. Like imagine keeping a runner inside
You're right.
4 walls. It has just been difficult. Though a lot of people have been running at home and all. I can't even do that. My home is like small. I stay in a rented place, and I can't run from one hall to kitchen. So Bombay mein ghar bhi chote hai. It just gets over with it. But I think looking at the positive side, when so much of negative was happening around you, I think what I worked was on a lot of strength, because 2019 had a lot of wear and tear. Though I was working on my strength and endurance and everything, I thought again focus should be now that running is not happening. Let's build and work stronger muscles. So a lot of strength workouts, muscle focus workouts, I started doing it. And that's the only way I kept myself engaged into, fitness. And yeah, of course, yoga has always been my favorite.
That's great. So COVID has also not stopped you.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you are everlasting. Yeah, and we'll be seeing you in many world championships ahead.
I'm into that.
Yeah, sure. And we'll be eagerly waiting that you represent India.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Great. So, looking ahead, what aspirations in sports of ultramarathon running do you have? And how do you plan to push your limits for that?
I think my aspirations will always be to be better than my last running score, or whatever distance that I would have done. I would just like to upgrade into that. And I think that again answers the second part as well, that you have to keep pushing yourself and you have to keep bettering yourself. You have to just keep figuring out what is working, what is not working. It's a continuous process. I'm no perfect till now. Like if I compare myself with other world athletes, I'm nowhere. And the amount of training other people are putting into it, I'm only able to manage a bit out of it. So yeah, I mean, given the circumstances and everything, whatever I'm trying to do right now is at my max possible. But if circumstances change, situations change, opportunities come at the right time, at the right possible way, then of course I would like to explore in my best capacity and my best potential and see how much I can go beyond it, how many more number of hours or long distance running that I can do. And I think that will just continue in my journey of running as such.
The last question to sum up all is, what advice would you like to give to ultramarathon runners or who want to go for a world championship but are still stuck somewhere? You know, that listening to that world championship or that phase or that fame which comes along.
Yeah.
What would you like to advise for the first timers planning to go for a world championship?
No, I think everything is on your training. Like if you have it in you, you just have to put that hard work into practice. And there is no magic or, any kind of, overnight changes that will happen. It is what you put into practice every day, that discipline, that commitment that you give to yourself is going to fetch you result over a period of time. And if you're aiming at something, give that amount of training. Otherwise, if you see yourself gradually growing into ultra runner, and maybe a few years down the line, you can always start with. There are very clear qualifying criteria mentioned by the federations. And you can read that much in detail, evaluate where you are standing and what kind of amount of training that you will require. Yes, for ultra running, endurance and strength is of key. So you know two things where you certainly want to work, you know where you are standing, and you just have to keep making those small changes. And it is not about one drastic step or one advice that will bring overnight changes. It is every day putting things into practice, bringing those small changes, and most importantly, running with nutrition and hydration. Because if you want to sustain an ultra run, you have to practice running, and you have to practice running with nutrition and hydration. That is only going to change.
Many thanks for being a part of Fitcast family. See you in the next one. Till then, stay fit, stay strong, and race above.